last resort, if we need it, we can always use the reserves in the utility fund. Legally, we have pledged all of the city's assets for our bonds. But from a management standpoint, you kind of want the utility fund to stand on its own, but it's very common in other cities that have big utility funds. When they need a fire station or they need a new fire truck, they'll borrow money from the utilities, and then over time they pay it back, just to get it back kind of squared up. Okay. So that's why I'm not worried about it. I'm not losing any sleep over it. It's just one of these things where if we can do it without touching the utility fund, that's the objective.
Is that the objective over raising taxes, or which would you rather do?
I would rather raise the taxes slightly and not touch the utility fund, because there's things down the road where we might have to do some things with the utility fund.
Maybe add another well.
Maybe another well. We might have to run across the street to that guy.
Right.
Interconnect. The interconnect. That's right. So that's why I'm not overly concerned. Like, oh my gosh, we're going to default on our bond. I'm not worried about the finances. The MBD is sitting on 47,000. They'll be at 50,000 by the end. So, for instance, on this, so next year our bond payment for the old bond is $180,000, right? That's our bond payment next time. Of that $180,000, $12,000 of that is an interest payment. So I've asked the MDD to make that interest payment, which they can do. So that takes $12,000 out of our. We don't have to worry about that. We'll make the principal payment. We'll pay down the principal, but have them pay the interest. And they're going to do that for our next payment. So our next payment is in July. So the way that it works is in February, we make a huge payment, which is the principal being paid down and a little bit of interest. And then in July, we make a little bit of interest payment. So this year, it's about, I think coming up, it's about $7,000. We have to make a July payment for the existing bonds. I've asked the MDD and the board approved making that payment. About $7,000 we don't have to make. Next year, it'll be $12,000. That's an example of having the MDD. They're sitting on $50,000 now. They're going to make another $30,000 next year. They're a cash cow sitting here. We're going to offload more things to the MDD. Okay? But that's part of what I'm going to bring to you next time, is kind of this comprehensive strategy. But I've talked with the MDD board a couple times. They're all plugged in. They understand. It's it's time to step up, and they've agreed to step up, and they know the mothership is calling, and we need it. So that's good there. All right. So that's what is going on with that. All right, so the other thing then I would like to talk about is the actual budget itself. So I'm going to pull up the budget that we're at right now.
Oh, no, it's in the packet.
This is in the packet. So right now in the general fund, revenues are looking pretty good. So if you look at our revenues here, property taxes, we've got 262. Like I say, we're owed about $10,000 in property taxes. People are delinquent. Debt franchise fees, we've blown that out. We're at 39. We'll probably end up close to 42 or so. So we're doing really well there. Remember, sales tax, we're at 31.7. We're only 8 months into the year. This has 8 months in it. So we still have a third still to go. So we're in really good shape there. Everything looks pretty good. Building permits, for one house away from being over, which I know I already know there's 3 of them that are ready to submit. So we're going to do really well there. So our operating surplus, as we sit here right now, which is our profit, if you will. So with 4 months to go, we're sitting on about $186,000. Budgeted about $169,000. We should be in pretty good shape. My guess is we're going to be close to that number. We're going to be about 180,000 surplus. Okay? I mean, we're having a great year. We're having an awesome year at the perfect time. So we've got about 180,000 there. Now you can see down here, for this year, we've had these one-off things. Interest revenue is really high because we have a lot of money in the bank. That does not include the bonds. We sold the lot. We've got the developer agreement. We've spent about $10,000 here in capital improvements to City Hall. You don't know what those are. I can tell you what they are. We didn't budget for them. We sort of did, but the air conditioner ate itself here. So that was one thing. So we had to replace the air conditioner. What was the other one, Linda? Is it the driveway? The air conditioner was the big part of that. Yeah, the MDD paid for the mailbox relocation. Bring the mailboxes up and demo that pad. So if you look at the general fund right now, the cash inbound was about $325,000 inbound in cash. And that's why we have about $300,000 more than when we started the year. Okay? So we've got these $100,000 stuff where we sold it, and we have a general profit of about $185,000. Now the reason why it doesn't match exactly is we've sold about $20,000 on the road project ourselves. I did not take it out of the bond funds. And we spent that money on things like, I don't know if you guys remember, removing all the mailboxes, taking down the trees, putting all the crap, redoing this parking lot. So there's a lot of one-offs where we spent, $3,000 on that, and $2,000 over there, and, prepping the road, getting it ready, getting all the stuff out of the way. Down at the wastewater plant, we had to clear all the trees up so we could extend the road. So a lot of stuff like that is going on there. So from the city fund, we're doing really, really well. So from this standpoint, it looks really good on the city side. So I'm going to do next year's numbers here, next time out, but you can see if we have about $180,000 profit, we're getting close to that $228,000 bond payment. Right? We just got to bridge the gap a little bit and not have something bad happen. Okay, on the utility fund. Utility fund is looking good. We're a couple percentage points ahead of last year. I just turned the third well on a couple days ago. We've been running only 2 wells, just because we didn't want to run the third well. So now we're running all 3. So everything appears to be running normally. The water line is in and running. That 12-inch main is fully operational. I'm sure you guys did the math, but we laid 1,000 feet of that 12-inch line is 1,000 feet long. So I'm sure you did the math to know that it was an 8-inch line. Now it's a 12-inch line, which means it's bigger, which means it stores more water. So that line now added 4,100 gallons to our storage because that now holds 4,100 more gallons than the 8-inch line. So see, we expanded our water capacity by putting in a bigger line. All right, so year to date, where are we? So we've got an operating surplus of $99,000 in the utility fund so far this year. And if you guys remember, the utility fund, the way that it works for us is we do all the CapEx front-loaded, so we look horrible in the financials at the beginning of the year because we want to do it when the system is at low capacity. We do it in the winter. We do it when we're running only 1 well most of the winter. So we always spend a lot of money up front, and then at the end of the year, like these next 4 months, half of our water revenue is going to come in the next 4 months, and we won't touch the system. Once a pump fails, we don't do anything because we don't want to bring anything offline now. So we are now about to make some serious ground up on the utility fund. The great,
When we scroll back to the top, right, we're going to probably be higher in revenue, right? We only got
8. And to us, that's, you know, that's 5% more houses. I know, and that's a nice number for us. So we're looking good there. The part that I like about it is, so we had 99,000 of surplus, and we spent $112,000 so far on CapEx. Now, we didn't plan on it. What happened there was, one, we had to finish off the sewer CapEx on Cary. Put the new motors in. Remember, we rerouted that sewer line? So we had to finish that job. That was about $15,000. And then this water line we put in, plus, they're all painted now. All the fire hydrants are painted. So now we got all new hydrants where there were none. We have hydrants on every street now. We're 100% legal. Hydrants, 12-inch main. That main is now good for the school when it comes in or any other development. So we're in great shape, infrastructure-wise. We've got it all under the street now before the concrete goes in. And so the net of that was $110,000 in CapEx, but we had $99,000 in operating surplus. So we almost
They must have muted themselves again.
Okay, so we're back.
Having phone problems, folks.
All right, so as you can see, our net cash flow for the utility fund is negative, but it's always negative now. Because now we're going to make up ground like crazy in the next 4 months. Okay? So the takeaway from this is we're looking really good. We've cut a lot of expenses out. There's a couple things which made us look worse. And the things that made us look worse right now were that we had to, some of things caught up with us. So here on the sewer repairs show 17,580. So we're over on the sewer repairs, we're under on water. The reason why the sewer repairs are higher is because we had to fight the bullet down on Meadow Lake. So down on Meadow Lake and High Ridge on the far side of town, both the sewer lines are clay tile. And they run right through the middle of that intersection. And we were having problems down there. So I just made the decision, we can't go in and fix them once the concrete's in over the middle of, because it runs right down the middle of the cul-de-sac. So we had to run a huge excavator because they're 18 feet underground. And we just replaced a whole big section of clay tile. So we got that done. So that's fixed. The other problem we ran into was this water sewer tap install of 12.5. Everybody knows Green Meadows under construction. Well, we're finding out sometimes there aren't water and sewer taps. And we had a problem over on Peninsula where the water and sewer taps, if you look at the plat, when Lakewood Village was designed in the 70s, early 70s, the plat shows the lots being 90 feet wide. Sorry, it shows the lots being 100 feet wide. They're 100 feet wide in the original design of Lakewood Village. When they put them on the ground, they made them 90. But the taps were put in based on 100. So it's a game of musical chairs. So everybody just kind of took the nearest tap. Well, there's one lot left over here on the corner, and he had no tap. So we had to bore under the street because the sewer is on the other side of the street. So it was a major operation, but it's just a historical thing, and we had to eat that. So That's what that water sewer tax. We've had to go and put in a couple taps where they just weren't there. And, that's just, now as everything builds out, we're going to run into those periodically. Other than that, it's been really a good year. We're way under on a lot of our maintenance stuff, and it's been a really good year. We're doing really, really well on firing on all cylinders here on the expense side. Everything looks good. So, one question for you as council. I typically don't like doing a budget amendment. I don't like going back and truing up the numbers to, make it artificially look like, hey, look, we actually spent $17,000 on sewer repairs. Look, the budget is $17,000 on sewer repairs. So I'm not planning on doing a budget amendment unless you guys want one. To go back in and say, look, CapEx, we thought you guys won't remember this. Maybe you will. Remember, 1 year ago, we were doing this 1 year ago. We were thinking about the roads. We hadn't even done the geotech yet. The roads were going to be out ahead of us. What we were talking about was reconditioning the wells. So we put $40,000 up there for maintenance, routine maintenance up here. That $40,000 was, we thought we were going to pull the wells and recondition them. That's what we were talking about. Well, that $40,000 never happened because we had to put in the mains. You know what I'm saying? So we can do a budget amendment and rearrange the deck chairs if you want, but I don't see the point unless you want to do it. I would just
it seems like you're artificially, if you have a budget difference there between your budget and your final, and you can say this is why that happened, I'd rather see that than just tweak everything and everything line up. And show the summary.
Show the summary, yeah. Sorry. So you want, for what? Which one?
No, for the one that we're on. Where utility expenses were we? Sorry. There you go. Look, it is a big difference, though.
Sorry?
It's a pretty big difference, but it's it's the categories in the end, but
it's like repairs and maintenance, we're at 40 instead of 35.
We still have a surplus, right?
Oh yeah. From the overall thing, we're going to be way under budget in total.
Yeah, I could, or I was heading, budget amendment, anybody can write the budget after you spend the money.
Yeah.
But the only thing I was curious is if we'd actually just, we didn't go negative. We still have our budget is much less than what
we're in great shape. It's just we made priority changes. We moved on. So I think everybody understands what they were. And they basically were things where,
nice guess. Yeah, almost. Yeah.
If I would have come to you and said, hey, look, the sewer pipe is clay tile, it's broken underneath the intersection, you want to fix it? I think that would have been easy,
I'm okay if we don't do a budget amendment. We didn't spend money we didn't have. We just spent money we didn't plan to.
Like I said, by the end of the year, this thing's going to look very good at the end of the year. Like I said, we're down about $30,000 overall in cash, but we're billing out over $40,000 a month in the next 4 months. So that's kind of what the landscape that we've got ahead of us. Okay, so I just want everybody to understand. Next time out, I'm going to put in the numbers, and one last thing, something to think about because this may come up. So what this is a look at. So periodically, what I do is I look at our water rates. It's hard to look. So let me back up. So when we look at our utility rates, if you look at your neighbors, the only thing that's good for is to kind of see if you're way out of whack. Because you have to charge whatever your costs are. So if Little Elm is paying $8 to get out of the pipeline from, Upper Trinity, then they got to charge $8. So every city has to charge whatever their costs are. But nevertheless, if you're charging 15, everybody else is 2, then where there's smoke, there's fire. So periodically, I like to look at it. So it's been 2 years since we looked at our rates, since we made an adjustment. So I looked at our 2 neighboring cities, so Lake Cities and Little Elm. What's interesting is so we have basically the base charge, the $25. That's for the first 2,000 gallons. Everybody has a base charge. And conceptually, what you're doing with that base charge, theoretically, is you want to cover your fixed cost. Because you got fixed costs of the operator and all that stuff. So with that base charge, you cover the fixed part. Then, the more water you use, you have variable costs, but I get variable revenues. Saying conceptually, that's the idea. Front load, immediately you're going to pay me all my fixed costs with that base, and then move on. What's interesting is Lake Cities and Little Elm, they charge a different base amount depending upon whether you have a 1-inch meter or a 5/8. We charge $25 no matter what your meter size is. It's 2,000 gallons no matter how it flows. Doesn't matter what it flows through, it's 2,000 gallons. So for Lake Cities, if you've got a 5/8-inch meter, it's $42. If you have a 1-inch meter, it's $90 for the first 2,000 gallons. If you have a 1-inch meter. And you might wonder, why do they do that? Or once again, I find it fascinating. From an intellectual standpoint, what you're doing is it's a little bit like price discrimination. And what that means is the people that can pay more, pay more. You try to identify people that are willing to pay even more, and you sell them a higher price. So it's not a negative thing. It's not discrimination in a negative way. It's an actual way to extract more rents. It's people that can pay more, pay more. Okay. It's the opposite of consumer surplus. So they charge $90 for 1-inch meter. Little Elm does kind of the similar. Little Elm's $24 for the 5/8-inch meter. It's $39 for the 1-inch.
What's the base at the top?
Okay, so Lake City's changed their rates. These are the rates effective January of 2020. What Little Elm does is Little Elm adopts like a 5-year schedule, where every year there's a built-in change. They do them in 5-year planning cycles. We don't do that. We do them, kind of ad hoc, whenever I look at it and go, hey. But this kind of shows you where we're at. We're about, 30% or so below the other.
Muted themselves again.
So the thing that we have looking forward to down the road in the utility system is, number one, the lift station down at the sewer plant is almost 50 years old. Its life is limited. It's just a matter of time. We're going to have to replace it, and we're going to replace it with a modern pre-treatment. So that's down the road. At some point, we're going to have to replace that lift station. We're also going to have to do something with the lift station on High Ridge, which is next to the road, at some point down the road. And the well is something down the road as well. That will probably wait for land plan and some of that stuff. But so there's several ideas of kicking around. So for instance, if if we change our base rate, and I'm not saying split it, I'm saying one number, because we don't need to have one rate for the shores and some rate for, others. I don't want to do that. But if that base rate were to go, let's say, from 25 to 30, that's about $15,000. Right? Pumping it that $5. Okay? And if we were to adjust, let's say, the rates, and I have a spreadsheet, so Matt, I can give you that spreadsheet again. You just play with the numbers and it calculates. I have everybody's bill from August of last year, so you can see what everybody used. And it just recalculates everybody's bill. So I can give that to you guys if you want to do sensitivity checks. So if we made the 450 rate, everybody else is over 6. So if we made that rate, $4.75 or $5, what would it generate? Because the idea would be two purposes. One is get the utility fund more money to get those reserves up. And second, get those reserves up because we have stuff to do, but also because it's our backstop to the bonds. There's double reason to ratchet them up a little bit. So I'm gonna bring that for your consideration as well. I don't think it's gonna be a big number, but that's kind of where we're at. Okay? So I'll bring you the real numbers next time. If you want to make them up, you can try yourself if you want. But I'll bring you the numbers, and we'll kind of go through that. I've got my plan for the MDD and some of this stuff. Okay? Good. So, like I say, it's not. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. It's just more complicated than normal. The next 4 years are going to be a little bit of a challenge in the overlap, and then it'll be. It'll be child's play.
Under the to the NDD budget, I know we talked about that probably.
We're doing what now?
Looking at a lot of rates for that.
Yeah, I know we looked at that. MDD's just been hanging steady. I mean, they've just been really steady because you've had no growth, right? There's no more houses. It's just steady growth. But the sales tax, our sales tax is up 56% month on month.
I think so.
So we are doing really well.
Online shopping.
Yeah. So we're doing very well. Okay. If there's no more questions, we'll bring the budget up next month. We have plenty of time in the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No questions? All right. Then, in accordance with Texas Government Code 55101, the town will recess into executive session to discuss the following: to wit, consultation with town attorney and matters to do the attorney government body on Texas rules, conduct, including with this chapter, 55107.2, Texas Government to wit, deliberations regarding Sam Hill Sanctuary at Sunset Cove, and 55107, economic development regarding Sam Hill Ventures Sanctuary at Sunset Cove. So we are in executive session now.